Tonight, Q's latest post gives us a roadmap of what will happen to the Department of Justice after Rod Rosenstein is dismissed. Plus, did Hillary just admit to being a part of Russia collusion? Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, I start off every episode by thanking every one of my subscribers. Without you guys, this channel just doesn't work, so thank you so much to everybody who's come here and hit that button. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please come here to this landing page. Click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, as soon as these videos get published, you'll be notified, because as soon as the information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, jumping into the latest Q post, we have a lot to cover here. And stick around, because at the end of this episode, we're going to talk about Hillary. We're going to talk about her latest speech. We're going to talk about all the cabals, globalists, elitists, liberal people who are going out and giving these speeches that are basically knocking the president, and just, you even have one instance where it may have been a joke, but it seems to me that Hillary is just relinquishing herself to the fact that she is the one who is involved with colluding with the Russians, and it's not, in fact, Trump. And that's why this whole investigation is going to flip on them, and I can't wait to see that happen. But we will see in good time. Now, let's start with the latest Q post. Now, what I'm going to do, obviously, I'll read through this first, because it's only one post tonight. It's a new post. But continuing, we're going to examine how incredible this one post is, because it gives us an entire blueprint for what's going to be coming ahead, and the situations that they're dealing with on their end, meaning Q and his team with POTUS. It's interesting. So let's get right into it. I'll read through this first, and then we'll break it down. Oh, and don't forget, at the end of the episode 2, we're going to cover how the media just blew up with the John Brennan / Raisin Face Turd Muffin story. So we'll definitely be covering that. But military op as an operation. Green in Killbox, which means brackets. General K, JFK, right? John Francis Kelly. Or John F. Kennedy Jr. We're not sure yet, but I'll tell you why I think it's one above the other when we keep going. Full disclosure, general statement. Once the quote, extremely guarded and highly classified, unquote, information is finally revealed to the House investigators, Department of Naval Intelligence, etc., or Department of National Intelligence, public, etc., Rod Rosenstein must recuse or forcefully terminated. Rod Rosenstein, Killbox problems, meaning brackets. What was Rod Rosenstein's Senate confirmation vote? Ray reports to Rod Rosenstein, important fact. Who do you trust? Rod Rosenstein, recused, fired, who has direct oversight of Mueller? Sessions unrecused, or number 3 until refill, Killbox? Why was Rachel Brand dismissed? Who is Rachel Brand? Excuse me. Why was Rachel Brand dismissed? Think timing. Quote, the secession question is actually a bit complicated. By default, under an obscure statute known as the Vacancies Reform Act of 1998, Brand's temporary successor as the quote-unquote acting Associate Attorney General is her principal deputy, Jesse Panuccio. That same statute would also allow the president to choose someone else to serve as the quote-unquote acting Assistant Attorney General on a temporary basis for up to 210 days. The pool of individuals from which the president could draw in this case includes individuals already holding Senate-confirmed positions elsewhere in the executive branch, like EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt, or senior civil service lawyers in the Justice Department specifically. Then, and that's the unquote there, then Q says there, quote-unquote, acting. Then it gives a link to this website, which is talking about Jesse Panuccio as the Assistant Attorney, or the Associate Attorney General, right? And then it goes on. When does the clock run out? Why is Schneiderman removal extremely, quote-unquote, relevant? Trust name. The name is put in parentheses. These people are stupid. D5Q. Okay, so we're going to break this down. And we're going to start at the top here, because this tells a story, right? These all tell stories, but this one in particular tells a fascinating story, and I think it's telling us a story or a blueprint of what's to come. So let's try to put it together in a form that makes sense for everyone to understand. Military operation, right? This is the the first line of the post, and the military operation could be referring to several different things. But if you think about it, what I'm thinking of is that this is a military intelligence operation, the Q boards, and getting this information out, and that there are probably operations going on behind the scenes that would refer to um, that could be referred to as operations that are by the military and that are exposing the evil cabal of globalist pedophiles, Luciferian Satanists. But it goes even deeper. If you look back at what Q is posting, now Green is in kill box here with the brackets. And if we go back, Green's mentioned a few times throughout. Now, Green has been mentioned to identify the beginning of an operation, as in did AWAN's mission go or Operation Go Green, and this is where you see mission Operation Go Green in another form. Now, another time that we saw Green was actually all the way back here. And if we just scroll right down to when Q used to leave us these stringers, right? And he gave us one in particular that I thought was quite interesting just to consider, right? Green 1 0600 Bunker Apple Yellow Sky, and then he explains here what it was. It was the key words were confirm, that green means confirm, sky. What keywords or why were keywords added in the stringer? And he goes on to explain that this is all referring to somebody named Captain Mike Green, who died in a helicopter crash in over one of the Rothschilds' estates. Now, it was reported that somebody was being picked up as a part of a sting. The plus plus would be referring to the Rothschilds, and yeah, so that's what we're getting at right now, and that's one place where we've seen green before, right? But here's another one where it just says for green Q, right? I'm taking green to mean in this sense that, and also we've seen it with this red castle, green castle, and we've seen green castle several times now. I'm taking it to mean that green is go. Green is okay. Green is operation, engage, however you want to look at it. So that's what I'm taking that to mean. Now, what operation are we talking about? General K, Killbox JFK. So let's think. Green JFK. Now, a lot of people pointed out basically that it could be John F. Kennedy, but it also could be the senior chief of staff for President Trump, John Francis Kelly. Interesting. So you may be asking yourself, why would Q be saying military operation that's going to go, that is going to involve General Kelly? Is that saying, and here's what my initial take is, that we're being told here one thing, and there's always double entendres in Q, so you have to read kind of past what we're already seeing here, because this is kind of information that's out there. Now, maybe they're giving us a heads up, and I will explain why I think they're giving us a heads up. So the green in JFK, I think, is both General Kelly and also John Francis, or John F. Kennedy Jr., right? So why would I say that? You guys are like, oh, this guy's out of his mind. Well, I have some interesting things I just want to look at, and then you guys let me know what you think. But it says then full disclosure, right? Remember that. And then it gives this general statement where it talks about how the extremely guarded and highly classified information is finally revealed, right? Obviously, the first takeaway topically, if you juxtapose it against what's going on in the news, is obvious. I mean, obviously, the House Republicans getting into this FISA abuse investigation and the Hillary Clinton probe, and they're asking for a second special investigator or special counsel, and it's based on a letter sent by Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows and Ron DeSantis, that asked the president to force the DOJ and the FBI to release the documents regarding information with the Clinton probe. Clinton putting allegedly special access program information, classified information, onto a private server that was unsecured and obviously seemingly a dead drop, allegedly, for selling information to foreign governments by accepting donations to their foundation while storing special access program on a private server and then allowing the foreign adversaries to come pick that up at their leisure, giving them access, telling them where it was. And it all goes back to the AWANs, and it all goes back to the DNC. But we're going to save that for another time. We're going to get into why I'm trying to explain that this has to do with JFK and it has to do with John F. Kelly. So hear me out here. Now we have this story, right, coming out in the 26th of 2017 in October, and it's talking about how Trump released 2,800 documents regarding or records regarding the JFK assassination. But then you have the media coming out and blasting him and saying, oh, but now he's basically allowed the Office of Archive Records to redact and keep sealed certain documents that may be a threat to national security. But I wanted to let you know, and we'll look at that. And it's like all you have to do is go over here and do a quick Google search. And, you know, I'm telling you right now, I am so frustrated because, and I just use DuckDuckGo now. I've literally just given up on Google, but it really frustrates me. And I'm going to get off on a little tangent here because I think this needs to be said. No matter what you search in Google, you will not see one conservative news website that will bring you this information. I don't even know how to explain it. I search for things all the time, and you try anything, put it in this server, and they're going to give you the most left-leaning, liberal fake news garbage, and it's like this is what the majority of people in our country are going to see. So I can only imagine, I pray for this to change so that we get fair coverage. If you go over to a website like DuckDuckGo, it just works better for certain things. I mean, there are certain things that Google's good at that, you know, you can't get around, but this is one thing I can't use Google anymore now. It's gotten to the point where you type anything into it, and it's going to bring you up every news article from every left-leaning, liberal, crazy, globalist media organization that's obviously tied into the Mockingbird media and fake news. And it's just, it makes this search engine basically obsolete. But that's my tangent I had to get out there for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. But this is what you see. You know, you type JFK full disclosure and they give you all these articles. Trump pushes assassinating record deadline to 2021, so that they're not going to release anything till 2021. Everything's been pushed back. The documents are still redacted and nothing's coming out. And he's bowing to national security concerns, and it's always painted as a negative, right? But I wanted to point out that in the actual statement that he released, which is right here, it's actually written out, Trump explains very clearly that there's a deadline that's been set, but there is even more to this than meets the eye. Let's read it really quick. Here's the part where I think most of the headlines are not giving you the full story. It says here, he's writing in his statement about this, that I agree with the archivist's recommendation that the continued withholdings are necessary to protect against identifiable harm to national security, law enforcement, or foreign affairs that is of such gravity that it outweighs the public interest in immediate disclosure. I am also ordering agencies to re-review each of those redactions over the next 3 years. At any time during that review period, and no later than the end of that period, agencies shall disclose information that no longer warrants continued withholding. So by the time that deadline comes around, they could literally have released all of the documents, assuming that it becomes more and more reasonable that the information held in the redacted sections of this set of documents would have no impact on anyone living or any national security threats or so on and so forth. But people want to just jump on Trump and tell him that basically that he's this criminal, and if you go Google it, it's like, good luck with that, right? So that's what that is. And we're going to just keep going, and I'm going to tie it all back, though, to say this. If you want to understand what I meant with that's John F. Kelly too, when we go into the next stuff, John Kelly could be in charge of helping to promote this dissemination of information, while at the same time you have all of this other stuff going on in the Department of Justice that is completely pertinent to the fact that a person like Rod Rosenstein is in a position of power that obviously he's been compromised out of being able to hold. And Q has pointed that out to us. So we'll have to see what the operation for letting out the JFK information is. But that I just wanted to point that out, that it would seem interesting if you look at the parallels between the classified information at the JFK assassination files and then the classified information regarding the Trump Spygate fiasco that's been basically thrown on to this campaign through the intelligence agency using their powers to spy on the Trump campaign on behalf of the opposing campaign, it would seem. So, I mean, this is incredible. And it's going to be worse than Watergate, but it's going to be a scandal of the same magnitude and order, I believe, if not higher. Because the fact of the matter is that these people are criminals, in my opinion. The ones who are involved in this, the ones who have actively ordered spying on our president in order to undermine his campaign, the ones who actively ordered agents to go over to Great Britain or the United Kingdom in order to get information going against Trump through the Steele dossier and the SIS, the Secret Intelligence Service, along with the CIA and the FBI. That, to me, is incredible. And once that information's out, it's going to cause people to want to see accountability. They're going to want to see people get held accountable for their actions. And I think it's the same principle with the JFK thing. Maybe it's a national security issue because there are so many people out there that would, really lose it if they found out that that our own government had something to do with the assassination of a sitting president. I'm not saying that that's true. I'm just saying that if that turned out to be the case, obviously that could really throw our whole democracy, or our whole republic, I should say, into a catastrophic state of affairs where we would really have to work hard to be able to remedy the situation effectively without having mass rioting or panic. This is what we deal with here. This is why Hughes even said that some of the information just can't come out because. And it's sad and it's sick, and I want to expose all the truth because I believe that only bringing light to the darkness and bringing that the good versus the evil is what's going to really change things for the better. But this is the kind of stuff that we're dealing with here. It's going to be talking about things with pedophilia. It's going to be talking about things with corruption, pay for play. It's going to be talking about things with treason, sedition. I mean, these are things that could shake the foundation of our country, and it's really going to be very, very, very critical that patriots like you and me and everyone else out there need to just keep this information and spread it and let everyone know. The people who are freaking out right now, people who are having, who watch CNN and get spun up into a twist, and that one day they're off on Stormy Daniels, and the next day they're off on Michael Cohen, and the next day they're off on you name it. Trump sneezes the wrong way, and it's a Russian conspiracy, right? So, and they're like children with their attention span. It goes, shiny ball, and they go chasing it down the street, right? So you have to understand that We have to be the ones with the long game in mind. We have to be the ones with that 40 chess mentality of, we're not going to let our emotional um, influences direct our rational ability to understand and logically confirm facts, because that's what they do. They're in the game of emotion and feelings, because they don't believe in laws. It's like, oh well, yeah, there's a law in the books that says illegals can't cross the border, but I feel like they're all good people, so let's let them all in. Why not, right? Or I'm the former head of the CIA, director of the CIA, and but I'm an affiliate on a biased liberal news organization, and I, consistently trash our sitting president. But I'm nonpartisan. I don't get involved in politics, right? Or I'm the former first lady and former secretary of state, and you know, I just can't believe I lost. I can't get over it. I should be the president of the United States. Well, let me wear my Russian hat and say, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what we have to look forward to at the end of this video. You guys can stick around for that. Sorry for the tangent there. There's a lot of information going on here. So the next post, right? And that's what all this is saying. That Rosenstein's going to get forcefully terminated, it would seem. And it says Rod Rosenstein problems. So that's what that whole thing's about. What was Rod Rosenstein's Senate confirmation? And I thought that was an interesting thing. If you look at it, it was like 94 to 6. And of that, the 6 members who actually ended up voting against him were Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Richard Blumenthal, Kristen Gillibrand, Catherine Cortez Masto. Who's who of liberal, lefty, I can't stand any of these people, to be quite honest. They all strike me very badly with their comments and their opinions, and the fact that they're actually in Congress controlling and voting on things disturbs and worries me more than anything. But that was that, and then it says Ray reports to Rod Rosenstein. He says that's an important fact. And he says, who do you trust? And it says Rod Rosenstein recused, fired, who has direct oversight over Mueller. So Sessions is recused, so it's either he unrecuses himself or the number 3 would step in and oversee Mueller until the refill of that position. Well, there's something very, very interesting to note, that this story has just come out basically today, and it says Rosenstein and Wray to meet with President Trump amid controversy over FBI's use of informant. How about that? So now we have Q telling us this, right? And he's telling us that Rod Rosenstein's going to have problems, and he's talking about Wray and Rosenstein, and it turns out that now they're going to go and sit down with the President of the United States. Huh. Well, wouldn't that be interesting to be a fly on the wall for that little meeting, where I think what's going to happen is they're going to lay out that Rod Rosenstein's out and that Wray is going to be free to do his job without being held or beholden to the Department of Justice and Rod Rosenstein. And Wray can even expose things about this FBI investigation, I would think, about Mueller and all the other stuff, to get that to shut down immediately, quickly. So I think that's what this is all panning up to. And we're going to have to see, because the meeting is scheduled for 3 p.m. And I think it's tomorrow or today, I guess you would say, depending on where you are. And it's going to be interesting to see what the outcome of that is. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about it. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about what's going on. And this is the options we have. If we do fire Rod Rosenstein, Sessions can either unrecuse himself and take over control of the Mueller investigation, or the number 3 would take over until the refill. Now, who is Rachel Brand? Rachel Brand, she was dismissed. She is the former Associate Attorney General, so the number 3 behind Sessions, Rosenstein, then her. She was dismissed back in February of 2018. And the MSM cover story for her leaving was basically that she came under a lot of pressure after Trump started making remarks about Sessions in the Department of Justice. And it was right before the memo, if you guys will remember, the memo from Nunez was released that basically laid out that there was an illegal spying operation going on against the president's campaign. She stepped down right before that little doozy was about to drop, probably for very good reason given her background and all the things that she's been involved with. But I thought this was very poignant, that the last thing Sessions said to her right before she stepped down was to thank her for her strong leadership at the department, and that leadership has been especially strong with regard to fighting human trafficking. I want to thank you for taking this important cause and making it your own. Now, I thought this statement stood out very much to me, and I'll tell you why. Because it could mean one of two things. It could have meant that Sessions knew about her being involved in covering up some kind of human trafficking, was giving her a public admonishment through a compliment as she was forced to step down behind the scenes, which I think is more likely of the two scenarios. But the other scenario could be that she pursued the human trafficking work that was laid out for her by Sessions with regard to the pedophile, globalist, Luciferian Satanists who literally are billionaires with unlimited resources and unlimited reach, who can threaten and basically turn anybody's life upside down if they want to. Maybe she was scared out. Maybe she was threatened and she decided to step down because of that. But whatever it was, it seems that there's much more beneath the surface behind her resigning. Maybe she didn't want a part of it. Maybe she was involved in it. But Q did tell us that she was forcibly removed in one of his previous posts. He actually names her by name. You can see here, he actually even says, Rachel Brand, Associate Attorney General, number 3 official behind Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein, fired, forced. So it doesn't seem as though she was being protected in that. I think it seems like she was fired or forced out, which would implicate her either being involved or somehow connected to the pedophilia, the child trafficking, and all that, the globalist cabal. You just don't know. But that is what the implication from Q is there. So I'll leave that to you guys to figure out. But then it says, think timing, right? Why would timing be so important for this? Well, there's a lot to this timing, and we're going to talk about it through this. So we already read through this statement about how the succession works, in particular with regard to how the succession of power works regarding if Rod Rosenstein were to be fired. That is very interesting. It would automatically jump to Jesse Panuccio, who has been appointed as the Associate Attorney General in lieu of Rachel Brand stepping down. But it says that the same statute would also allow the president to choose someone else to serve as the acting Associate Attorney General on a temporary basis for up to 210 days. So 210 days from, let's say now, or in my opinion, June 11th. I think that's what the T-minus 23 was. But I still, figuring that one out. And we'll talk about that in a second. But let's say it's from June or whatever. Whenever Rod Rosenstein gets let go or fired, that he is automatically replaced instead of this Jesse Panuccio guy who seems like a really he's definitely deep state. He's definitely not working on he was the deputy for Rachel Brand. So if she was bad, then he's going to be removed too, I would imagine. So, I mean, looking at this, right, we have, if he's removed, then it'll look like somebody has to be appointed into that position. And if you go from, let's say, even just like now until, because tomorrow is the 23rd, so it could be tomorrow as well. You go from now till, it'll be 210 days. They'll have a tenure until, or they'll have their 210 days go from here till December, which will take them through November, which will take them through the midterm elections, which is probably really important considering what they have planned for Trump in the midterm as far as the Mueller investigation goes and all types of other things that they're going to try to leak and try to basically undermine all credibility to the Republicans and the Trump administration. So it's explaining to us that we have this timeline to basically get rid of Jesse Panuccio by firing Rod Rosenstein and then having the president-elect to appoint someone else besides Jesse Panuccio to be the Associate Attorney General for 210 days. And the pool of individuals from which the president can pick is basically the Senate confirmed positions. So most of his administrators and cabinet heads, secretaries, and all that could be in play for that kind of position. Or senior civil service lawyers. So those lawyers in the U.S. Attorney's Office could be up for choice. So we'd have to wait and see. But I think what he's referring to here in acting is this one, the acting Associate Attorney General, which is Jesse Panuccio. And he's emphasizing acting because this guy's obviously deep state, obviously not trustworthy. He's acting, as in playing a part and not really in it to serve justice. And then he gives a link to the office is basically, it starts you off here, and it's the office of the Associate Attorney General. And then you scroll down and you can see Jesse Panuccio's here, and you can read his bio. And what does his bio tell us? Well, his bio tells us basically not too much. He went to the university. He went to Duke University, graduated from Harvard Law. He clerked under some big judges, but he's basically just a lower level guy who doesn't have any real anything that really stood out to me, other than the fact that he was working for Rachel Brand, and Q is pointing out that he's acting. So obviously, whatever he's doing is deep state involved, in my opinion, and it definitely should not be trusted. And it would be not surprising to me if directly after firing Rod Rosenstein, Trump were to immediately appoint a new Associate Attorney General for that position, because they would become the acting Attorney General, overseeing in the oversight of the Mueller investigation, right? Okay, so that's what I think that's referring to. It says, when does the clock run out? Now, this one I thought was really interesting because I found this post by an AN0N, which I thought was great. So talking about the 23 days, right? It could be tomorrow, the 23rd. It could be 30 days. I don't know, 23 days. But this was great. So May 13th, we had this post where he says, why are Dems slow walking POTUS Fed judge nominations? Watch what happens in minus 30 days. Then 7 days later, Q posts his own trip code password, and it has the T, which people have pointed out that the dash there is Morse code for T, and then minus 23. So it would make sense if he's giving us another countdown hint that it's 7 days exactly later we get minus 23, so then it's going to be 23 days. And then also, that is June 11th. So what makes total sense to me when I was thinking about this was, wouldn't it make perfect sense if Trump were to announce that Rod Rosenstein is fired on June 11th, the day before the North Korea deal, so the media has no choice but to cover the North Korea deal, and that they can actually do this work, which needs to get done without being basically lambasted by the media on a 24-hour news cycle 7 days a week about how what he's doing is just further proof of his corruption collusion with Russia. Wouldn't that be a genius move? I think it would be. So that's my opinion. If you guys think that's maybe the case, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But thank you to the AN0N, whoever put this together. This was like perfect. It put together what I was thinking exactly, and pointing out the days. It really laid it out perfectly. So I appreciate that. Now, then it says, why is Schneiderman's removal, quote unquote, extremely relevant? Well, obviously we go back to Schneiderman. This guy, he dropped out as soon as somebody put out these sexual abuse allegations, not even like charges or anything, but he knew he was guilty, so he resigned, and he was immediately replaced by Barbara Underwood. So that problem's been fixed. The corruption at the attorney general level in the state of New York has been fixed, right? That's what we would think at this point. Now, what it says is why is Schneiderman's removal extremely relevant? Um, it's extremely relevant because if you combine it with everything else that's going on, you obviously get the bigger picture, which is that the whole thing is centered around cleaning out the Department of Justice and cleaning out the FBI so that the Hillary investigation into the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton emails and the Clinton probe, all of this stuff. I mean, people say, oh, you're just harping on Clinton. You get over it. No. Why would I get over it if a person who was the Secretary of State is a criminal and committed criminal actions and sold special access, confidential, top secret information to foreign adversaries? I refuse to just move on if that is true. Now, if there is an investigation and then the right investigation, but till now there hasn't been even an investigation into it, although we have so much proof sitting here at the surface just staring us in the face, as Q would say. So he was the one who could have protected Hillary in New York and could have even claimed jurisdiction in his ability to prosecute a case against her because he could claim that whatever crime happened in their jurisdiction. But moreoverly, it's just that he's involved in all this stuff that's all connected to. I'd bet my bottom dollar there that he has something to do with the cabal, the deep state, the shadow government, the seventh floor, all of that. I'm sure he's intertwined with it, and I even think he may be involved with that Nexium cult. But this is all speculation. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. If there's an even stronger tie to something else, please share it with me. I'd love to hear it. And then it says trust name. These people are stupid, D5Q. So I'll go backwards here. So Q, Q. D5, two things. D is the fourth letter of the alphabet, and then 5, so that would be 45, the 45th president, President Trump. Also, D5 is a category of avalanche, the highest category. So as in the avalanche of information is coming, allegorically speaking, or metaphorically speaking, I should say. And the avalanche is a D5, so it's the largest avalanche you could ever have. And these people are stupid. Yes, they are, very much. But trust name is an interesting one. So two things come to mind that I've seen that people point out. Here's the first one. All the times we've heard Q say trust. Trust Sessions, trust Ray, trust Kansas, trust Horowitz, trust Huber, trust POTUS, and trust the plan. I think that's really important because this could be what trust is saying, or what Q is saying with trust names. But notice how Q only says trust name. And maybe he's telling us that the name of the person that we need to watch is Trust. And maybe that person is connected to Schneiderman. Wouldn't that be interesting? Well, there is a person named Trust who could be connected to Schneiderman directly. But Alan Trust is a bankruptcy judge for the Eastern District of New York. Oh, isn't that interesting? And he joined the court in 2008. Oh, who was elected in 2008? Wasn't that somebody by the name of Obama? And he's going to expire in 2022. Huh. Now, I know he's just a bankruptcy judge, but could there be a connection? Could there be some kind of nexus between him and Schneiderman and some kind of illegal stuff going on? I will leave that to you guys in the comments. You guys let me know what you think. But I thought that was really important to kind of point out. And that's pretty much it for these posts. Now, a couple things I really want to talk about. First of all, in the news, how wonderful. We have Brennan all over the news. Mr. Raisin-faced turd muffin himself, right? So what is important, though? What's important is that, I just made this video last night. If you guys want to go back and watch it, you'll get a lot of information talking about Brennan and how the MSM Clown Army was coming at us, right? And you guys can go, if you want to catch up, watch all of these videos if you want to get caught up to where we are right now. But this one in particular, it's funny to me how I made this video and then all of a sudden the next day it's just, obviously I'm not saying I was the cause of this. I'm not that egotistical or whatever, naive. But I will say this, that this is the story that's coming out, and it's coming out because Donald Trump highlighted it. President Trump. Let's hear what he has to say. Um, John Brennan is panicking. He has disgraced himself. He has disgraced the country. He has disgraced the entire intelligence community. He is the one man who is largely responsible for the destruction of America's faith in the intelligence community and in some people at the top of the FBI. Brennan started this entire debacle about President Trump. We now know that Brennan had detailed knowledge of the phony dossier. He knows about the dossier. He denies knowledge of the dossier. He briefs the Gang of Eight on the Hill about the dossier, which they then used to start an investigation about Trump. It is simple. This guy is the genesis of the whole debacle. This was a political hit job. This was not an intelligence investigation. Brennan has disgraced himself. He's worried about staying out of jail. And that's a quote from Dan Bongino that was posted to Trump's Twitter page just today. So, guys, I mean, you're out there. You hear what's going on here. You see this. This man, this raisin-faced turd muffin man that is the bane of all things good and decent. He is truly a cancer on our government and in our society that should be found criminally guilty after a trial by his peers for the crimes that he has committed against this country. That's plain and simple. It's funny to call him a funny name, but the truth is, this man is despicable. He is the antithesis of what we promote here in our republic. He is the antithesis of everything that we stand for as the United States of America. So, him and his gang of eight and all, or cabal, I should say, they're all going down. Trust me. I'm pretty sure that's going to be coming up soon. And if you want to support me, come over here to Twitter at Justin_Formed. You can find me on Twitter. Come give me a follow and check out all my content here. A great thing about the Twitter page, I'll just say this really briefly, is that all my videos automatically get posted here as soon as they get posted on YouTube. So if the notifications button isn't working on your YouTube channel, definitely come over here and follow me. That way you'll be notified, if Twitter will allow you to be notified of my tweets. But who knows with them either. So it's just another good way to stay on top of it. So the last thing we're going to talk about is an incredibly funny turn of events. So I'm pretty sure that Hillary's just slipping into an early onset dementia at this point, because she just stood up in front of the entire graduating class at Yale University and pulled a Russian hat out of a podium and then said the words, "If you can't beat them, join them." Now, of course, she meant this as a joke, but what is funny about that? What in the world would make anyone laugh at this disgruntled Democrat woman throwing, criminal in my opinion, alleged criminal, throwing this Russian hat on and saying, "If you can't beat them, join them"? You're a criminal. Uranium One. Track the money. The Clinton Foundation, the connection to the Russian oligarchs through Canada, giving Iran and North Korea uranium. What? This, to me, is literally where we've gotten to in a society. The criminals can get up on stage and just laugh, make jokes about how they're criminals. And everyone's laughing. And this is Yale University. This is an Ivy League college. It's supposed to be the top premier educational institution in the country. And there's a whole room of people screaming yes and clapping and screaming how wonderful it is and laughing. Do these how brainwashed are the kids in our colleges? Do they not see that they're staring at a criminal, basically explaining how she's a criminal and basically admitting to her collusion with Russia? See, because here's the thing. The whole thing for the last year has been Trump is a Russian. And now all of a sudden she's just pulling Russian hats out and saying, well, if you can't beat him, join him. Maybe she knows something's coming down the pike. Maybe she knows that there's a lot of information that's going to be uncovered through the special investigator and or through the inspector general's investigation and through other things that are going into the Clinton Foundation. They're going to expose that this is the criminal that she is. So I hate to get charged up, but I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss for words. I cannot explain how crazy this is. And then if you read the full article, you have Nancy Pelosi out here just jabbering away, talking about all these crazy things about how we have to have women's health and disability rights and gun violence prevention, whatever that means, and we have to be in favor of dreamers and immigrants. You mean illegals, dreamers. That's what they are called. I mean, I know there are some dreamers out there who are good people, who may even deserve citizenship. But look at what these people are doing. They're on their little circuits. You have Al Gore making jokes about Trump being chemotherapy and how some experiments need to be flushed down the toilet. You know, I don't know. I only can say so much because I'm really just stunned at the level of just complete nonchalance with which these people basically just waltz around and act like they're not criminals when they are. So that's where we're going to leave it today. You guys, please let me know what you think about that in the comments. That's all we've got from Q so far. But I want to thank everybody for watching, of course. If you're looking for a way to contribute to the channel, the easiest and best way, it's like giving me a buck and it costs you nothing, is if you have not hit that subscribe button, please come here to this landing page. Click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, as soon as these videos get posted, you'll be notified. The second best way you can help is to scroll down at the end of this video and leave your thoughts, theories, and insights in the comments. Because like I say, we try to have our own QAnon research board at the end of each one of these videos. So thank you so much, everybody who goes down and contributes. And even if you can't contribute, scroll down and read through the comments. I guarantee you're going to learn something you didn't know previously to starting this video. If you're looking for a way to contribute financially, and I really appreciate it, it really helps this channel keep this channel going and keep Just Informed Talk alive. Come over here to patreon.com. It's patreon.com. Search Just Informed Talk, or go to patreon.com/justinformedtalk. You'll come to this page, click the Become a Patron button. You can contribute whatever you can. It really helps me out because demonetization is real, and it happens when you cover the truth, I guess. So you guys let me know if you can contribute over here. That would be great. If not, that's fine. Just come check it out, and I appreciate that very much from each and every one of you. Now, before we go, we're going to talk about the most important thing, and that is talking about God. And why do I tie God into each one of these episodes? Because without God, life is meaningless without God. Our whole purpose in life should be to worship God and to try to understand Him further and pray for His guidance and wisdom and pray for His blessings and pray for His ability to vindicate us and, you know, understand that the people that we fight these days are usually the evil ones. And especially here in this, it's all come down to there are just those who have chosen the path of darkness, and there are those who have chosen to be in the light with God and what is good. So we're in this epic battle. It's a spiritual battle. It's more than just the battle between good and evil in the literal sense here on earth. It's good and evil in the cosmic sense, and how these forces are meeting each other, because God wants us to look to Him to defeat evil. He doesn't want us to look all around us and get distracted by the things that are here on earth that really can't help us. I mean, we can expose the truth, but then evil can overcome that. Evil can overcome the things on earth here. But what evil cannot overcome is God and His power and His glory and His grace and His ability to set our souls free and to set our hearts on fire and to give us a meaning behind everything that we do. So remember, God is here for you. And we're going to read Psalm 43 because I think it's really great And I think it really speaks volumes to what we're going to talk about, or what we have talked about here today, I should say. And here's Psalm 43. Vindicate me, God, and defend my cause against an ungodly nation. Rescue me from the deceitful and unjust man. For you are the God of my refuge. Why have you rejected me? Why must I go about in sorrow because of the enemy's oppression? Send your light and your truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me to your holy mountain, to your dwelling place. Then I will come to the altar of God, to God my greatest joy. I will praise you with the lyre. God, my God, why am I so depressed? Why this turmoil within me? Put your hope in God, for I will still praise him, my Savior and my God. Well, I hope that those words truly spoke to you, because what that psalm is talking about is a man or someone who's in a position very similar to the one we are right now. Someone who asks for God's vindication and for God to defend him, because there's an ungodly nation rising around him. He wants rescue from the deceitful and the unjust. He puts his faith in God as his refuge, or they put their faith in God as their refuge, and they question why God has rejected them, and they question why they are left in sorrow because of the enemy's doings. And they understand, though, they come to the understanding that by seeking God's light and God's truth, that's the only way that they will truly regain their joy. And without it, their life is depressing. Their life is depressing. Their life is without meaning. Their life is a constant state of turmoil. So the answer to ending that turmoil and ending that depression and ending what hurts, all of these things, is by putting your hope in God and praising God and understanding he is your Savior and he is your eternal God. So, if you don't take anything else away from this episode, just understand that God is your Savior and God is your salvation, and we need to look to him every single day in every single way. Pray every day. Sorry, I'm not trying to rhyme here, but pray every day and make sure that whether you're happy, sad, or indifferent, pray every day, because that's going to bring you closer to God, and that's the most important thing. So I want to thank everybody for watching again. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, now's a good time to do it. But God bless each and every one of you. This has been Just Informed Talk, and I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. I'm Craig, Godspeed, and again, God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.